There was an attack today in a San Francisco school. Reports are that civil defense is investigating, but local government is calling this a terrorist attack, not a spread of illness. This morning, San Francisco did hire a private security firm to protect homeless populations, but from what was the question? Now it appears this is the reason. This has not stopped conspiracy groups and militia organizations from pointing out correlations. It's not shocking, as the mayor had expressed in his release that the concern about right-wing organizations engaging in terror and laying blame on the illness itself lie at the heart of the situation. This has put a great deal of organizations on high alert. We're more amazed this report came up because of a cacophony of reports that have simply amounted to white noise throughout the U.S. This is just, for some, another day at the office. Some of these attacks are confirmed, while others are extensively questioned. Mayors, governors, police chiefs, anyone that you may ask, results in the simple answer of everything is completely under control. Civil defense has made it clear that they cannot respond to questionable attacks and must be asked to investigate. So if an area simply denies that an attack has happened, there's no way to truly confirm that it is. Questioning if military response would be considered, they quickly stated that the option simply isn't on the table at this time, and there is no plan for military action in the near future, stating, "We are nowhere near that level of threat." While areas report that emergency lines don't answer or simply don't function, officials are making it clear that people should give way to first responders to take action, laying the blame solely for the slow action at the feet of citizens. Citizens responded by purchasing firearms, sales that some say will reach in one day what they do in an entire year. The background check database crashed twice during the flood of people, while some stores reported that customers simply would purchase whatever was available if the store was running dry. Concerns over those crossing borders and not applying the necessary background checks have come into question, but the manpower to check is just impossible to maintain, as a rush to simply be more armed has become the primary concern. This only reinforces that citizens are taking action and getting better prepared, but is it too little, too late? Food shelves in some areas are empty, and truckers are now refusing to drive into places like Georgia or Pennsylvania, reporting they were seeing these things walking the highways. Still, many people are claiming it a hoax or a conspiracy theory, claiming right-wing fear-mongering, but the time for that has, in some respects, gone and passed. The big channels are doing their best to cover the events, but they are simply unable to keep up. Some news channels complain that it needs to be covered more than a simple pandemic, and others complain that if they use the Z word, that they'll be banned from their platform of choice. FCC has been doing double time to shut down or find channels that have claimed that the dead are walking the earth, and they are getting support from social media to do so. Canada, who hasn't made their stance abundantly clear, will shut its borders by the end of the day if they aren't shut already. Air flights confirm that air travel to China have been cut off. Still, the question has become, will that even be effective? What if this isn't spread through contact or travel? Maybe it is in the water or in our drug supply. We simply don't know. The spread seems almost slow and methodical, like a sparkler feeding its way up a wire. First it looks normal, but then an outcropping of an attack in another area will catch your attention. You have to ask, what preempted this new report? A report, I may add, that is impossible to confirm. Besides sick people, we have an abundance of another thing: lack of answers. It seems like every time we get close to even answering one question, 10 others pop up. We don't know how to tell the difference between an infected person and everyone else. How do you become infected? If you get it, is there a cure, a treatment? Is it terminal? We don't know. Shelter lists are inaccurate, and some have failed to function, while civil defense has stressed that keeping these shelters functional and operational is of paramount concern. But that then even begs to question, what are the shelters for? It's important to remind you that this is only the first day since the first reported started. CDC reported that the number of infected counts for around 21,000 people, but admit this is probably a very conservative number and doesn't take into account active infections, meaning people who have died while infected are neither added nor subtracted, saying it's simply impossible at this point to measure how widespread the situation is. We simply ask that you stick with this channel as we continue to get to the bottom of this incredible pandemic and what it means to you. Stay tuned.